today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
We are so back officially in season 8. And wow, what a premiere. This was one of the best, if not the best season premiere The Rookie has had, in my opinion. And not just because of the Chenford redemption, but there was so much going on. New partnership dynamics, action, Chenford, of course. I don't know. I have a feeling that season 8 is going to be one of the best ones yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, I mean, they gave us such a good premiere. I don't know like what else they can like do to top it. But I
Yeah.
mean, um, yeah, hopefully the upward trend continues.
hmm So we just have a little bit of news. We'll just kind of touch on the highlights, because there was a lot of postmortems that dropped after last night, and then just a lot of like press interviews that happened, like earlier in the week, everything like that. Like the entire cast was hyping up the episode. Alyssa did a takeover yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So it feels so good to like be back when like the rookie is airing and everyone's just like so amped up on the energy. So.
Mhm. Yeah.
We do have an episode description though. Do you want to take us through that?
Sure. So we have the episode description for 803, which is called The Red Place. It reads, Nolan makes a quiet arrest, and Lucy and Celina race to rescue a kidnapping victim. Meanwhile, Harper and Lopez help outsmart a killer, and Miles visits a familiar face.
I feel like
Yeah.
people are speculating that the familiar face is Aaron.
But like he's never met Aaron before, right? So
No.
how would like why I would just want to know why and why he would go visit him. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Because then I think I saw someone else say, well, what if it's Seth? I'm like, no, he's not going to go visit Seth. Who even knows where Seth is at this point? Um, I don't know. Yeah, like he's never met Aaron, but maybe Selena like introduces him, or something like that. I don't know. Um, The Harper and Lopez outsmart a killer. Interesting. I can't wait for them to be back together. But I really liked seeing like the different partnerships with Angela this week. So, TV Guide did put out an article, and some of the highlights from that are that Tim will be stepping up as watch commander while Wade is involved in the task force. So, yay for that.
Yeah.
We'll get to see how he processes that and the challenges that he has that go through with it. And then Liam Glasser is coming back. That was speculated with images from set and then like, now confirmed. So it'll impact Wesley with his campaign for DA. We're obviously going to meet Tim's mom. So we know True's coming back, but Alexi wouldn't share how many episodes he's gonna be in, so or when he's really gonna come back. And Alexi also said that Seth will be back soon, so interesting on that. We're getting another Valentine's episode this year, and so there's gonna be some Valentine's themed crimes going on. And then there's gonna be some new villains who show up this season, and we'll see some of the old ones as well. So. That's kind of it from TV Guide. There's a TV Insider one. Do you want to take us through that?
Sure. So apparently, um, well, the actors, Michael Trucco and Michelle Nunez, will be returning, aka Del Monte, and then Elena from the Rookie Feds. So, yay for another mini crossover moment.
Hmm
And apparently we'll also be seeing Felix Solis a lot this season. So more of Matthew Garza as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and Monica will be helping the task force that Garza is creating, and Gray is helping run it from LA. And so Alexi said it allows them to expand the scope of the show that, you know, goes sometimes beyond Los Angeles. And apparently, there's going to be a storyline for Harper that challenges her career and puts her into jeopardy. Another undercover adventure for her, too. So that'll be good.
Exciting. Exciting.
Mhm.
And then there was also a Deadline article. It was like a postmortem too. They had mentioned the Daddy Cop homage. And Alexei said when they were scouting a few months before shooting in Prague, they were on the Charles Bridge, and Bill Rowe, the producing director, mentioned how funny it would be if somebody was singing Daddy Cop on the bridge because of the buskers out there. And Xander knows a guy in Prague, and so because it's somebody who reached out to him through the music and said that he was a fan. So it was a fan that was
That's fun.
singing the music, singing the song. And then Alexi also touched on the theme for this season, and he said it's very relationship forward with Chenford, Balin, and Gray and Luna, even Lopez. It's a great Lopez season, according to Alexi. So I'm excited to see Angela shine. And then Alexi also said it might be our biggest season ever, just in terms of set pieces and action and stuff, even scary. Episode 3 is very intense. There's another episode or two down the road that are more horror movie-esque and that then more horror movie than we've ever done before. Interesting. It's gonna be a good season, I feel like. I
Mhm.
mean, they're hyping it up, so who knows? They could just be trolling us, but I hope it's a really good season. So so then we'll just get right into the episode. We'll start off with Monica and the LAPD of it all. So obviously we start off in Prague. And it's great to see Nyla, John, and Bailey looking so official. Nyla and Garza are briefing the team. The title card was really cool. Did you catch that? It was the rookie but in check. So
Yeah.
it was really cool. And Monica suggests taking a break from watching her every move and going sightseeing. And John's like, yeah, that's not happening. So once they're up in the suite, Monica's already claimed to the bigger room. Bailey suggests spending an extra few days there once the op is over and they're like having a second honeymoon. Which when she said that, it was like, okay, that makes sense for why they were showing the Balin wedding and then that Balin honeymoon that turned into like a murder mystery. I was like, why are we
Yeah.
showing that? That was like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Um, so the team is back at the station in LA with John, Bailey, Garza, and Nyla all getting updates because there's a threat over in LA with them with Wegner's main base of operations. So I loved how like the call was very like uniform, right? Very like cut and dry. And after Angela and Nyla are just like taking over the call with like their cop mom talk. And
Oh, yeah.
Angela's like, how's the food over there? And Nyla's like, has James called? And so it was just so funny. And I loved that because it was like, not only was it, did like Gray have to listen in too, but also Garza. Like it was just, they didn't care who else was there. It was like, we're
Yeah.
already on the phone, so we're just gonna talk. And Gray's like, talk on your own time. Which rude because let us see that, but he gets everyone back on track. And they've intel that Wegner's working out of port of LA. But the port is 75 acres with a lot of cargo, terminals, marinas, and rail yards. So Miles chimes in with another one of his phrases, and Selena's like, I don't get it, which I mean, everyone else is just like over it. Like even Garza just rolls his eyes, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Angela and Tim start talking about what they could do. And then Smitty chimes in and says Wegner probably has people working at the port as eyes and ears. And they all agree that that's a solid idea, and Smitty has a win. And he's like, sometimes it happens. So everyone's switching to plain clothes and working overtime, which I love that we had everyone in plain clothes. Like it wasn't just a couple of them. It was everyone. So at the port, everyone's paired up. We have Penford, of course, and Miles is gonna start a conversation, but before he can, Tim's like, if you're gonna ask about Lucy, don't. Miles is like, no, it wasn't that. So Miles tells him about Smitty and the rent, asking if Smitty can really do that. And we find out that Smitty's cousin is the department's facility manager, which of course he is. That makes all the sense. And so his cousin controls every station parking lot in LA. Yeah, so that makes me wonder if there's more Shangri-Las. And it's, like at Aaron's division and everything. So Miles sees a worker who looks familiar, and it's someone on Wegner's team. The street team is advised, and we see Angela and Celina paired up on duty, along with a bunch of undercover police officers who are all posing as construction workers. And there's a cell phone jammer, as the suspect is kind of driving away, his cell phone gets blocked. And so he tries to make a call to Boss Man on his phone, who we presume is Wegner. And it's, not successful. So he ends up crashing his car on an embankment. Um, Later in the episode, we know that Wegner operates out of the APM terminal, but not what section. So they have to keep an eye on 400 acres. Easy light work, no big deal. So Gray tells Angela to bring Wesley along for the stakeout. And Angela's response in this was so hilarious. She questions it and she's like, he's scrappy, but not much help in armed conflict. Like the way that Gray was like, bring Wesley along, and Angela's like, why? I was like, oh, yeah, baby's first stakeout right there. Um, and Gray was like, if this goes to trial, Wegner is going to have an army of lawyers and they need to make sure that their side of the street is spotless. Um, so we go back to Prague. Monica's trying to sneak out of the suite. Um, and she sees that John's asleep, but she doesn't see that Bailey is awake, sitting in the chair across from him. So Monica brings up that Prague is a beautiful city and asks if they want to see it again. And Bailey does, she kind of like hints to it. And she's like, well, our job is to keep an eye on her. They didn't say where. We just have to keep an eye on her. And Nolan's like, no, we're not going sightseeing. Because if Wagner is having Monica watch, seeing her with them could spook him. So Monica's like, easy. She's my assistant. You're my bodyguard. And so Monica's like, it would be more suspicious if I didn't have an entourage with me. So Bailey's, of course, all for it. Nolan's like, fine. Like, I'll give you guys an hour. Um, so Monica tells them that new clothes are needed. And so she has clothes brought up, obviously. She tells Nolan to try a certain piece, and Nolan argues again. But then when Bailey gives him something, he's like, yes, dear. Like, yeah, you don't argue with her.
Yeah.
So Nolan has a little fashion show, and Monica and Bailey are judging the outfits. This was a fun scene for sure. Like, I was glad to see it on Instagram shared before, but then like it was so funny to watch too, like in the actual episode. And I ended up really liking this trio. Like I felt like Monica and Bailey kind of connected. But then like John was also just kind of like, I'm not putting up with her stuff, but if I have to be with her, then I have to be with her. Um, so after 4 outfits, no one's had it. He's like, no more, no more. So we go back to LA. They're on the stakeout at the port. Wesley's there along with Smitty, who has a cool Hawaiian shirt on, I will say. And Smitty's talking like he's back in the 90s, saying seven Lincoln nine in the hizzy and faux shizzle, which is even sending Miles like it's even confusing him. And even Wesley was like, was Smitty dropped on his head as a child? And Angela says, repeatedly would be my guess. I loved seeing Wesley on the stakeout. Number one, that's we've never seen that before, obviously. Number two, like I don't even feel like you see that in other shows. Like I'm thinking SVU because they also have like the lawyer side of it. And I feel like maybe we see Carisi go on a couple of stakeouts, but also he was one of the detectives so like before. So it kind of makes sense. But it was interesting to see Wesley. But then like when Angela leaves, Wesley's like, wait a minute, what do I do with this? And I'm like, yeah. And then no one like goes to help him or no one goes to stay with him. Like, what if there was some kind of trouble? He can't handle himself there. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was fun to see. And then the Smitty and Lopez banter, I need that. Sign me up. Sign me up for that. So as Angela's in with Tim, talking to him about his relationship with Lucy, they see some movement and Wegner's crews landed around Terminal K. Also, I loved how Angela was like, Miles, Celina needs help with snacks. Just go. Like, Angela was just kicking Miles out everywhere he was.
Yeah.
So we go back to Prague And Monica, Nolan, and Bailey are all walking around. She brings up the bus hijacking, and we have a mention of the NSA. And John notices that they're being followed, and Monica wonders if he works for Wagner. And they talk about like how they want to play it and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, when it was announced that Bailey was going to Prague too, I was kind of like, okay, why? She's not a police officer. But then I thought about it more and I was like, well, she's a firefighter and she's got the army background. So like if anything, she's just as qualified, if not more qualified to go. So at this point, the LAPD should just put her on their payroll
Hmm.
because
You would think.
yeah, because I mean, she's basically like a police officer just without the badge. Like, yeah. So, when Bailey mentions amping it up a little bit, Monica even looks at her shocked, like, are you crazy? Like, you really want more action? And I loved how Nolan was like, oh, the luxury Prague vacation isn't enough excitement for you. And she's like, I know I have a problem. I'm like, yeah, just learn to like chill out for a minute, please, Bailey.
Mhm.
So they get the guy thanks to Bailey's skills, and Monica, Nolan, and Bailey are all back in their suite with the guy that they took down, who is like tied to a chair. Um, and Garza and the team arrive with a laundry cart. So Monica doesn't think that the man is with Wagner. She was like, if it was Wagner, he would have suspected that Monica sold him out. He'd just ghost her and then have her killed 6 months from now with no one watching. Um, and Monica's like, this guy had to have been sent by someone else to assassinate me in broad daylight. So Garth is like, well, I'm just gonna run him through some databases to see if we can find out who he is. So Monica gets a call from Wagner, and he apparently had to make sure that all the items that she wanted he had in stock. So she ends up getting the meeting set up, and the team gets ready to go. And so in Prague, everyone's set up for this meeting. Bailey, John, and Nyla discuss if Monica ever gets nervous. And John thinks so, but Nyla's like, no, she's a pure lizard brain and designer heels, always working for the angle of her number one client herself. I love how even after all this time, Nyla does not give her the benefit of the doubt. Like she is just,
Nope.
yeah, she's like, I'm not giving her any kind of credit here. So Garza mentions the bottle of wine that Monica orders, which is $1,000 a bottle. And Nyla's like, oh, you should see the clothing bill that the hotel sent
Mhm.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they wore the same three outfits for like the whole day or like the
Right.
whole sequence. I'm like, okay. So, Wegner shows up, Garza tells everyone to get into position, and we cut over to the LA team as well. They're moving in with SWAT. So, John goes to stand behind Monica and she's like, let the adults talk. And I'm like, that was just funny to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Um, so Bailey shares what she sees and estimates SWAT needs a gap of 6 seconds to close the gap and make the arrest. And Nolan's like, leave it to me. And right away I was like, oh no, what is he gonna do? But also like he's the only one that can do that, right? Because he has to be the bodyguard. And so he's like, I'll say the word biscuit when everyone should be ready to move. And literally everyone's like, biscuit? Why biscuit?
Yeah.
So things start happening. Monica starts to run off. The LA team is also taking suspects under arrest. The core team is still clearing the area when Tim and Lucy like meet up around shipping containers and there's a shot fired her way. She's not shot, but she thinks she twisted her knee. But like we hear the muffled sounds. Tim's calling for her. And when he comes around the corner of a shipping container, he finds her on the ground, and she ends up like having her gun like pointed at him, thinking he was one of Wagner's guys. He checks on her. It was just such a sweet moment, and I was like, okay, this is such a great moment because already at this point they've said that they're back together. So, it's just like it's reconfirming that like they are endgame and that they're like gonna come past all of what, they previously had. So back in Prague, Wagner is arrested. Bailey asks John, why biscuit? And Nolan's like, oh, it just popped into my head. I think I'm hungry or something. I'm like, but biscuit? Like you couldn't have said anything else. Um, so then they wonder where Monica is. And so we see her walking into an abandoned church. She's meeting up with someone who went to the bank and tried to like get into her safe deposit box, but it was tagged by Interpol. And so the other person, the girl hands her a bag of jewelry and enter Bailey and Nolan. They tell her that they found her by tracking her phone, which rookie mistake, Monica. Also, she thought why didn't she think of her bank account being tagged by Interpol? Like she knew she was working with the FBI and Interpol, I would assume. So like why wouldn't you have thought it's going to be tagged by Interpol? Like she just seemed like very dejected that she couldn't get to that account, which yeah, that had a lot more in it, but it was just like you know who you're working with. So why wouldn't you have done something else with that? Um, but maybe that was why she had like enlisted someone else. So they track her phone too, which again, rookie mistake, Monica. Like, come on, come on. You've been on the run for a year and you don't think to like drop your phone. So Monica tells them that she's broke. She's been on the run for a year and it's depleted her resources and her immunity deal doesn't restore her law license or give her any money to live off of. And again, Nolan and Bailey are like, do you have any sympathy? Because I don't. And Monica's just like, the jewelry in the bag, I could live off of comfortably for a year or two. And she wants it. And John's like, yeah, I can't make that decision. And Bailey and John banter a little bit more about not feeling guilty about all this. They finally acknowledge the girl that Monica met with, and Monica doesn't owe her anything. So they just leave and walk out of the church. And I was like, okay. I mean, if I was that girl, I would have just felt awkward. So as they're walking out, Nyla calls and they have an ID on the assassin that tried to grab Monica earlier. And he works for Jacob Olmsted, which, if you don't remember, is the guy from the Argentina, like, you know, the whole desert shooting a couple seasons ago with Blair London. So they doubt that he just sent one guy to do the job. So they have to move. And just as they're outside the church, Olmsted's guys arrive, and Balin and Monica are now on the run. I have a theory. Do we think that the girl that Monica met with was a part of telling Olmsted's guys where she was? Because how else did they know? I mean, I guess they could have tapped her phone, but even then, I would think that's like an FBI issued phone. Maybe not, because Wagner had the number. But I'm just like, how do they know? And it's kind of suspicious that that girl just, I mean, she walked off because they didn't need her anymore. But like, as soon as she left, those guys were coming. So I'm like, interesting. Uh, they're probably not even related, but I just figured it's possible. So shots are fired. Bailey still has the jewelry. They're all running towards the top of the church. And Monica hears the shots being fired. And again, like it's a muffled sound. And there's a scared look on her face. The cinematography here is amazing. Like she was walking backwards in the hall, blurry in the background. Then the man comes up behind her. She still looks freaked out. And like she's looking basically right at the camera. John shows up on the other side, takes the guy out behind her, but like we don't know that John's there. So like she could have came up and been facing another bad guy. So at the end, Monica, Nyla, and Garza are all back on the fence jet. And he gives Monica a box. And she's like, where's the rest of the pieces? But there's a catch. And the necklace was the only one that they could trace back as a legal purchase. So that's the only one that she gets to keep. The appraiser estimates that it's worth $100,000 and it's enough to live on as long as she gets a modest apartment in the valley and takes public transportation, which is unheard of for her. So she questions if he wants her to live like a poor person. And I love Garza. I love him. He was just like he kind of got like closer to her and he's like, no, what I really want you to do is be living doing 25 to life in a federal prison, but we all have to make sacrifices. And he just like walks away and sits down across from Nyla. And I'm like, please just come on as like a recurring cast member. Like I
Mhm.
don't want just guest star appearances from him anymore. I need him to be recurring. So I'm really glad that we're gonna see more of him in season 8 and see him interacting with Monica. Um so he sits down across from Nyla, thanking her for working with him again. And, he's like, I'm glad that I can like trust you and have you on my team. And she's like, yeah, I felt good taking down one of the a top 10 most wanted. And it brought her back to her undercover days, which I loved this callback. And I loved the backstory here, which we mostly already knew, but just the character growth too. She mentions that, infiltrating major drug operations in the US and Mexico. Um, and, when Garza mentions Mexico too, she's like, that part's classified though. And he's like, I know, but I make a point to research people that I'm trying to recruit. And I saw this coming I think the minute that they sat down together, because I was like, I don't know. It's something about it just seemed official. And in the long run, he would love for her to join the FBI, but right now he's formalizing a multi-agency task force to round out the rest of Monica's list, and he wants her on board. Um, and it's a great offer, international travel, generous discretionary budget, but she has to decline ultimately. She's like, I have kids and a powerful desire to stay married. Um, and she's like, I know how hard it would be to keep my priorities straight when my job is saving the world. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, yes, she's making the right decision because she went undercover a lot. Like that was her main job when Lila was
Yeah.
little and like she missed out. Plus, her marriage with Donovan kind of imploded. And I'm like, she's not making that same mistake again. Not that it was a mistake, but just not that same decision again.
Yeah.
Um, and I also loved how she had these souvenirs in front of her too. Like presumably for the kids. It was just a nice reminder that like, yeah, she's a cop. She takes down bad guys. She can do cool stuff, but at the same time, she's a mom at the end of the day. Like she's going home to her babies.
Mhm.
So at the end of the episode, Balin ended up adding an extra few days onto their Prague trip and still have the suite to make it their second honeymoon. And, they're just enjoying the scenery and they hear Daddy Cop playing. And Bailey's like, let's just find another bridge. I love how she knows that it triggers him so much. And John slowly walks away being led by Bailey. And he just like keeps looking back, like, how do you know the song? And I'm like, that song literally follows him everywhere. Like, it
Yeah.
actually does. So. That's it for the Prague stuff. I'm so excited that they went international and I hope that this is just the first of many, but it was so crazy to like see this in the premiere, but then also have like the Chenford stuff and all of that too, which you'll talk about here in a minute. But what did you
Mhm.
think of the Prague of it all?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I just think it's cool that they actually like went to Prague and filmed there and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, because sometimes they don't, shows don't get to do that, like have locations, and then it ends up being set in like, Canada or something, like where they actually are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know.
yeah.
I wish that they had taken more of the team, but like even the three that they did take were solid team members. So yeah, it was
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to take us through the Chenford stuff?
Yeah. So basically it starts off with like the sneak peek, well, part of the sneak peek that was posted like yesterday, earlier the day. Um, which, showed Celina and Lucy at the apartment and they're talking and then like kind of simultaneously it like, Tim is talking again with Angela. And basically the consensus is that both of them are, not good at having difficult conversations and keep pushing things off, which is frustrating for Celina and Angela. Because apparently it's been 3 days since Lucy fell asleep during Tim's question. So like, and she's, wondering why he, didn't ask her out yet, didn't make a move. And, he's wondering if it was a sign from the universe. And Angela's like, what are you even talking about? Um, and so I thought that was kind of funny though, that was the context of the quote that was posted
Hmm.
earlier too. I was like, what are you, Celina? Like that was funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, it's basically just similar to like what was it, season like 501 then, right?
Yeah.
Where like Tim was talking to Angela. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the vibes that I got. Um, and so I mean, even during the stakeout, like Miles, like you said, started to ask Tim about Lucy. And it's like everyone wants to know what's
Hmm.
going to happen with them. Um, and so we also get to see a little bit later that Angela once again tries to talk to Tim, going so far as kicking Miles out of the van. So uh, she could call Lucy, but Tim jammed the signal with the cell phone jammer. And so she kind of looked at him and, basically told him to get out of his head and into his heart and, don't be scared of things, going sideways again, like so much so that he doesn't try. And he kind of agrees with her. Um, but, like, he sees where she's coming from, but, he's still like, oh, it's not the right time. It's not, I don't know what to say, yada, yada, yada. Like, he's just making excuses. Um, and so Angela meets up with Celina, and the two end up devising a plan to get Chenford alone. Uh, Basically, Celina tells Lucy that Tim needs to see her, and Miles tells Tim that Angela needs to see him. And so they both go outside, where they obviously discover, oh, they have too much time on their hands, but they do decide to talk. And so we get the scene of, Tim apologizing, and he confesses that he's worried that she won't like the new, less toxic version of himself. And Lucy, thinks it's good that he's worked on himself and she knows that it'll make him stronger. And he asks her again to move in with him because originally Lucy thought that it was, he was going to ask her out just on a date. And he was like, no. Um, and of course, we get the Chenford "I love you," well, I love you too,"
Hmm.
moment. So that was really nice, and just like, and they like kiss and everything, and like the sun, and like just the, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the panning out of the camera.
Yeah. The
Um,
landscape of it all.
yeah, just a wonderful scene. So, um, yeah, that was the first. Um, about like literally like halfway through the
Yeah.
episode, because I remember when I was live tweeting, I was like 22 minutes in and there's still no Chenford stuff. Where
Hmm.
is it? Like what's going on? But so
Hey,
that
it
was
wasn't just brushed over though in the premiere,
right.
like you were hoping that it wouldn't be. So
Right,
I
yes,
think
I
we
was
won on
hoping it
that.
wouldn't be. And just it was like nice to see there like a little bit of like playfulness to it too,
Hmm.
because Lucy at the very end was like, okay, where are the keys? Like she, really wants to like get all moved in and stuff. So that was cool. Um, and so later, um, later on in the episode, we get to see Tim ask Lucy if she's ready to go home, and she's kind of like rambling about, oh, well, it's not technically like, my home, it's our
Hmm.
home, and da 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 da. And he's like, just say yes. Because she said a similar thing earlier to him when she asked him if he was going to be a good communicator. And he was like, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll, tell you everything. And she's like, just say yes.
Yeah.
So that was a good callback. Um, and so we see them like in bed together, and he asks her if it was worth the wait, and she teases him about like him being insecure, but says that yes, it was worth the wait. And then it like cuts from them, um, like laying down, and then they're standing, looking at where like all our stuff is gonna be, and like all the boxes and stuff. And Lucy asked him what he would have done if she had said no, and he didn't have a plan for that apparently. So he was just, gonna ask, and whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens.
He was living on
Um,
a prayer, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. And she obviously sees the boxes and tells them, they're gonna need more of those. So
Yeah.
um yeah, it was nice, I think, to see it more like playful, I guess,
Hmm.
for them, especially since like the last like time they woke up after being together, it was like dead
Awkward.
silent and so
Yeah.
awkward. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was a really good like growth for them, like
Yeah.
because they've been apart for so long.
Yeah.
Because I mean, literally, like leaving the bed together, wrapped up in a
Right.
sheet, I'm assuming, and
Yeah.
walking through the house like that is
Right.
actually insane. That
Yeah.
like Chenford did that.
Yeah. And like they had the kiss like at the end too. So
Yeah.
it was like, we got what, like two or three kisses or
Yeah.
something like within the episode, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So
And we got them back together. So, I mean, really, we have Angela, Celina, Miles to thank for that.
hmm,
And part of me is like, I know that everyone at the station, including Gray, has a group text that's called like Operation Get Chenford Back Together or something.
yeah.
And they're just like always talking about them. Like,
Yeah.
why are they being idiots about this or whatever? I know that that's the case. Um, so it's just so like it was so refreshing to see that happen in the first episode. And now
Yeah.
I'm like, don't mess with them,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
please.
I want the upward trend to continue. I don't want
Yeah.
it to just like spiral. Although apparently they're going to take other couples through the ringer, which you'll
Yeah.
talk about next. So
Yeah. Well, and like even
frustrating.
Alexi was like, they're gonna have some challenges. And I'm like, if you touch a hair on their heads, I swear. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but I was thinking about it today and I was texting our friend Rachel and I was like, wait a minute, who tells Tamara? How does Tamara find out? Like, I need to see her find out more so than like her just come in and like she already knows. Like, I need her to find out some way.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I'm just like, I want her to find out. I want Aaron to find out. Um, just everyone. Like, because at this point, no one really knows that they're together again. Like, I
Although
guess
maybe
Selena
Smitty
does.
though. Well, I mean, yeah, Celina,
Yeah.
maybe Smitty too though, because he was like there when Tim was like ready to go home, and then
Yeah.
it was awkward. Like, not you, Smitty. Like
Yeah.
talking to Lucy.
Wait a minute. Is Smitty the station gossip? And so he like puts it out on the group text and he's
I
like, you
mean,
guys, the
honestly,
plan's worked. Chenford's
yeah.
back together.
Or honestly, he'd probably be like, I just saw Tim and Lucy walk away and they're holding hands. What's going on? And then it'd be like unintentionally, like,
Yeah.
oh, you figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, no. But I mean, even Selena knows because Lucy
right.
told her like she wanted
Yeah.
him to move in and everything.
Yep.
And Selena's like, "Oh, I knew. That was in your solo return." I'm like, "Selena knows all, man. Like she knows all."
Yep.
So, yeah, that's it's gonna be so interesting. I'm just glad that they're back together, like because it's been almost 2 years, like
Yeah.
from the season finale date. So I'm just like so glad that they're back together. But
Yeah.
yeah, please don't like mess with them. I mean, give them little challenges here and there because if Tim moves up to watch commander, then Lucy is sergeant on day shift.
Right.
So there's going to be some challenges there. And even Alexia said, like in an interview, the episode 3, like she kind of struggles with a little personal and professional something. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm just like, yeah, can we like not mess with them too much? Like, I don't really care who else we mess with, not Lopez and not Chenford, but yeah, yeah. So next we have Wade and Luna, which I don't like where this is going. I really don't.
Not
So
at all.
doctors are getting Lobo ready for surgery, who is the guy who crashed his car onto the embankment. And Gray is like in feral Wade Gray mode. He's trying to interject and he's like, I need to question him. It's time critical. I don't remember if we've ever seen Gray this like worked up and this feral, for lack of a better word. Like I really don't. But
No.
I loved
I've
it.
seen it on
So
other shows, but not really on the
yeah.
rookie. That's for sure.
So Wade or the doctor pushes back. Luna's in the room too. Luna and Wade then get into it. He ends up getting the information that he needs after Luna keeps pushing back and they take Lobo back. Um, so as Gray's briefing the team, who's still at the port terminal, Luna walks in and they talk, and he apologizes for putting her in that situation. Luna reminds him that like he got dangerously close to violating Lobo's civil rights and destroying his career, not to mention putting him and her at risk for being sued for everything they own, which is crazy that they're like he didn't think about that at the time, but he like his one track mind was saying, I need to get this information. Like I can't do anything else. I have to get this information. So he tells her that there were life and death stakes, and it's a global operation, but he's like, I could have handled it better. Which we love a man who is self-aware, and can admit when he's wrong. And so he suggests talking about it when he gets home. And then that's when we find out that they've been on opposite schedules, kind of. So similar to Chenford, they haven't been home and awake at the same time for a bit now. And he's like, I clock out at the same time every day, except for today. And she's like, so then it's my job that's the problem. And she gets defensive with that, which rightfully so. And Gray's like, I still don't want to do this right now. Can we just do it later? And she tells him that she's not giving up her job and Gray's not asking her to. And they just bring up stuff from the past. He's like, I didn't ask you to give up your job when Dominique was born either. And she's like, I know I was happy to stay home. Those were some of the best years of my life. And then she reminds him about his retirement that he never took. And I'm like, dang. So we're going there. And how that left her in limbo. So she stopped waiting and she moved on with her life, which is totally fair and valid. Like, she deserves to. She, loves her new career and loves the feeling that it gives her. Like it makes her feel, more than just a mom and a wife. And she stresses that she needs to make it a priority with him questioning if it means that they rarely see each other. So nothing else is really said. She just walks out. And I'm like, I don't like where that was left at all. I get that she wants to like prioritize it and stuff, but at the same time, like, I don't know like if it's worth this type of a fight, you know? Like, that's not good. So Gray walks into the hospital towards the end with flowers for Luna and wonders if he can give her a ride home. And she's like, I have three more patients to check on, but I should be home for dinner. And he's like, that's fine. I have budget approvals to catch up on, and the Lakers game is on. And so Luna tells him that this isn't the next chapter they envisioned, but she's happy and so is he. Which I'm kind of wondering is like Gray just projecting or something. Like, I don't know, because I feel like he's not so happy about it. Um, but at the same time, like he doesn't want to cause another fight, so he's just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Like it is what it is. So he gets a call from Garza, who wants him to meet him at the airport. And Gray and Garza talk, and Garza asks him if he feels like shaking things up, and the Monica task force is going to consume the next year of his life, and he could really use someone he trusts on his team. So Gray would be a senior liaison working out of Mid-Wilshire, helping him oversee all domestic operations. Um, and so Gray's like, so does that mean no European adventures? Like he just wanted to travel. Um,
Apparently.
and so Guards is like, oh no, I'll take as much of your time as I can get. Um, and Gray's like, you already asked Harper, didn't you? Which, oh, he did, but like if Gray is gonna be able to stay in LA, then why wasn't that point presented to Nyla? Because I feel like it was more
Fair.
so just like the international travel and the
That's
generous
fair. Yeah.
discretionary budget. And I'm like,
I didn't really think about it. Yeah.
why wasn't that offered to Nyla? Like that should have been one of the starting points too. Um, like it was almost like Garza just he offered two different jobs to them. Like which I guess, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to have Gray based out of LA so that he can still like be at the station. But like why not have that for Nyla too? I guess because she would be more like boots on the ground. But I was like, okay, that's interesting. So Garz is like, yeah, Nyla has a kid and, it just wouldn't be a good fit for her. And then he says this, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. He's like, what I really need is an empty nester like you. And he's like, I don't need the answer right now, but I'll need it quickly. And Garza assumes that Luna will need to have her opinion about it too. But Gray's like, actually, she's, finding her own thing. And so, sure, I'll take the job. So I'm like, okay, why did you have to bring up the whole empty nester thing? Like, to me, that was just kind of odd, didn't you think?
I mean, I guess just because of the fact that Nyla has kids, that he was just like maybe contrasting that with the fact
Hmm.
that Dominique's in college
Yeah. I don't know.
is,
I felt like
yeah,
that didn't really need to make a difference, but I guess because Nyla had turned it down, maybe.
yeah.
But I was just kind of like, okay. So Garza then asks Gray who's gonna t get his job, and we cut to Tim and Lucy in bed together, and I was like, Timothy Bradford is getting that job. So that's where
Yeah.
we left off with the Luna and Wade stuff. And we know from like the preview that she is like seen talking to this other doctor or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like it's gonna kind of be like a Detective Graham Angela type of thing again. Hopefully
Ay,
not
ay,
more than
ay.
that,
Yeah, hopefully.
because that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the Miles and Smitty of it all?
Yeah. So in their side storyline, we see that Miles is getting ready to, help out the task force when Smitty calls him over and says that the Shangri-La is starting an HOA. And for $900 a month, Miles can have access to all the amenities. And he basically just like repeats that. Miles says that back to Smitty, like, why is the Shangri-La having a homeowners association now? And he's basically like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And Smitty, flies right on by that and is counting that as a yes. And
Hmm.
Miles on his way out turns around. He's like, no, you're not. um, so I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Um, and then later when Miles is carrying the snack bag, Smitty calls him on his phone and calls him over to his vehicle because obviously he wants the snacks. And so, Miles like hands over the bag and Spidey just takes the whole bag.
Hmm.
Um, which I mean, classic, really.
Yeah.
Um, and the HOA is mentioned again, and Smitty tells Miles about the new hot tub, aka the floating pool, which would eventually get filled with chlorine because
Hmm.
the water is unfiltered. So, and like, I mean, Miles's face just said it all. He was like so not having it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Miles is like,
Um,
ew, I'm not gonna go and sit in that with a bunch of
yeah,
guys.
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
not appealing to him in the
Which,
least.
like, why would you, one, want to after work with your coworkers? Number two, you're in a parking lot in
Right,
front of your station. Like,
right,
what? No. And it's
yeah,
inflatable. It's not even like it's like like a hard
right,
shell hot
yeah,
tub. Like, it's
no,
inflatable. I'm like,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah, no. And so towards the end of the episode, we see Smitty make one last offer to Miles. Apparently, it's now down to $700 a month for all the amenities. Um, and Celina comes to the rescue and has a counteroffer for him, and Miles accepts without knowing what it is because anything is better than the seventh circle of hell, Shangri-La. So,
Yeah.
and Smitty's like so offended by it. Um, but it's like since Lucy told Celina she's moving in with Tim, like Celina would have
Hmm.
the room in the apartment that he could take. So when we see Miles and Celina go off screen to discuss things further, it's assumed that that's what could happen.
Yeah.
So yay for more possible scenes with them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yes, Smitty helped Miles get, you know, the place, but like it was always kind of like a temporary situation, I thought.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Like a
And
stepping
so
stone.
yeah, and it's not like we've ever seen Smitty, hang out with his trailer neighbors in the parking
Right.
lot. Um, yeah. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, and like one, I wish we would have seen a little bit more of the Shangri-La, but like I'm sure that the props and like set deck and everything, like that's just too hard to arrange. But like, did we ever get clarification on if Miles had like his own trailer, if he was staying with Smitty and his,
Oh,
like,
that's true. Oh, I didn't
like
think
there
about
was
that.
so much that we never
I
really
don't
covered
know.
with that, that I'm
Yeah.
like,
I mean, because
okay,
we saw Smitty like outside of his trailer, like when Nyla, Lucy, and Angela like woke him up that one time.
yeah,
Um, but we never saw like the inside or like really what
yeah,
like how everyone actually like lives there.
yeah.
So yeah.
Did you catch too when Tim was like, "You ready to go home or whatever?" And Smitty, like, it almost looked like Smitty was like gonna walk with Tim, and Tim was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean when
"No."
it like earlier, like I feel like that's how he would have caught on to
Yeah,
Chenford because he was like making it about him. And it's like, no, Smitty, that was not meant for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Smitty was like ready to walk out with them, and I was like, "No, Smitty, they just want time to themselves." Like,
Yeah, like you really can't be a third wheel.
yeah. But even when like Miles and Celina walked away, Lucy's just standing there looking at Smitty like, "You are something else. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. Um, I saw in an interview, I don't remember which one. I feel like there were a couple of them that had mentioned it, but like he was asked a question about like people shipping Miles and Selena, and they were like, anything on the relationship side for them. And Alexi was like, I don't, I can kind of see it, but like we're not necessarily going there. I don't think that every like pairing on the show has to be like in a relationship, like boy girl pairing. And he was like,
Right.
I didn't see it with Chenford, so who knows? Do you ship Miles and Selena as more than just friends, or is it just friends for you?
Um, I'm kind of like, mm, here's the thing, is like I don't like I like their scenes together. I guess I would have to see what could happen
Yeah.
if it was, more than friends for them. Like I'd have to see that kind of. Um, because I don't want it to be another like awkward mixed signal or misread signals,
Hmm.
like how it was with Aaron. Because
Yeah.
then that just made it all awkward. And like, I mean, yes, their friendship eventually got repaired, but not wasn't the same. So I don't
Yeah.
want it to be this like awkward, oh, just kidding, we're gonna pull back again and try to make them friends. So like I'd rather them just stay friends
Yeah.
like how they are now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really say because I don't think I'd mind it, but I don't know. Because I said that about a couple on a different show. And then when they finally did get together, I was like, no, please take it back.
Yeah.
So, um, I, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm okay with them staying friends. I mean, if it happens, cool, as long as it's not awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would like them as a ship, but also like I'm totally fine with them just being friends because I feel like we
Yeah.
need like another good male-female friendship that's
Yeah.
solid, like Tim and Angela. I mean, we don't even really see like Wesley interact. Well, I guess with Nyla, but like they're not like besties like Tim and
Yeah,
Angela are.
not
Like we
as
got a
much.
lot of
Yeah.
Bropez in this episode, which
Yeah.
lacking a lot of Bropez lately. So I'm glad that we
Yeah.
had a lot of it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Miles and Celina have never really hinted at that,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, like it's very much a rookie P2 dynamic. Like
Yeah.
it's not like they're both rookies or anything.
That's
But
true.
it does
Yeah.
give like the Jackson and Lucy friendship aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I don't
Yeah.
know. It'll be interesting to see because I feel like
Yeah.
Selena's they're both like outspoken and kind of quirky in their own ways. So it's going to be really interesting to see the comedy that comes out of their scenes and like their,
Mhm.
like apartment scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like when Raj comes back because we know that
Yeah, I
he's
was
going to come
just
back at
thinking
some
that. I
point.
was like, yeah, especially if Raj comes back.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
dear. Yeah. I mean, Derek and Lisette can keep making like TikToks together. That would
mhm.
be fun. I so
Yeah.
wouldn't mind that,
Yeah.
if we get, that out of more Miles and Selena
Yeah.
scenes on
Yeah.
screen. Um, yeah, because they're just a fun duo to see like on set.
Yeah.
So
I am a
yeah.
little bummed that we are ending the Lucy and Selena roommate era.
I
I'm a
know
little
that was
bummed.
short.
It
That was
was.
short.
But I mean, I'm glad that Chenford's moving in together, of course.
Right.
I'm a little bummed, but that's okay. So,
I'm just happy we get to see more of Tim's house. Because
yeah.
like all the stuff prior was like in Lucy's apartment.
Hmm.
So I'm happy that we see Tim's house
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. But yeah, I know
Um,
the roommate era was short.
yeah. But like we got a lot of the roommate era, I feel like. So I'm hoping that more will continue, like in the station and Lucy will go over to the apartment or Selena will go over to Tim's house or whatever. Um, Something else I was gonna say. Oh, I don't think that this was on my wish list, but now that Chenford's officially back together, I need a Chenford, Lopez, and Jayla date night. Like all of them together.
Triple date.
And you know what? We can add Bela into it too. That's fine.
Just
Like,
everybody.
yeah, I mean,
And then
just
if like
everyone.
Wade and Luna are okay by the end of the season or something, like just have everybody go out
Yeah,
together.
yeah. I'm looking back at the wish list because I also thought of something else, and I don't think that I had it on there. So I was thinking too, I was like, okay, so Gray's gonna go through this with Luna and her job, right? Which character can relate the most to that? And I thought, well, recently James and Nyla could. So, but then also like Tim and Isabel. Tim could with Isabel. So I'm like, can Gray confide in them?
Right.
Because at this point, they've all kind of went through the same thing. And then I
Yeah.
was like, well, wait, did Angela and Wesley have that too? And I don't think to this extent.
I mean,
Like he was putting himself in danger, but like that was
yeah.
because she was pregnant. So,
Yeah.
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 But I'm like, yeah, I would like to see some, like, even if it's just Gray, Nyla, and Tim like talking or, saying something about like, oh, saw Luna yesterday at the hospital when I was there getting like a statement from someone, and Gray's like, oh, yeah, we are kind of going through it at the moment or something like that. Like that would just be really, I don't know. I would really like for them to have that kind of moment because I feel like it would be so relatable, but also like humanize the characters a little bit more. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't, I don't have any other notes for this episode. Do you?
Nope,
It was a good
not a
one.
thing.
It was a good
Yeah,
one.
it was fun. Well, with that, you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod underscore or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. And you can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And I'm at J Stark 804.
And we are on TikTok as well at the Shop Talk Podcast _. Our merch store, shop-talk.dashery.com, is still up and running. So we have plenty of stuff there that you guys can check out. Um, and yeah, we'll be back next week with the 802 recap, which will be interesting too. I'm just like, I gotta get back in the swing of things of
Yeah.
watching the promo, doing this thing, and then like just
Yeah.
doing it all over again. So well, we got it. We're good.
Yeah. I will say, like, leading up to Tuesday, like with all the press interviews and stuff, I was like, okay, I have to keep my expectations real. Like, this is not going to happen every single week,
Right,
but I'm very much looking forward to it. And then
right.
when it was like the sneak peek time, I was like, okay, like the sneak peek should be coming out. Like, I was getting back into it and I was like, oh my God, I forgot what a rush this all felt like. Because then they had like Alyssa doing the takeover and everything like that. And I was like, God, it
Mhm.
just feels so good to be back. Like, we are back in 2026. So,
Yep.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, next week should be interesting. So, until then, bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Go get him, boo.